Okay, thanks for joining us. You're watching the Fox Business Network. Let's welcome back to the show Hill media reporter Joe Concha. Okay, Joe, it's good to be with you again. Okay, both Republicans and Democrats say the debate was so chaotic, such an incoherent brawl, that now the Presidential Commission on Debates is stepping in because it left so many key questions unanswered for voters. Some say the only way to have productive debates now is to cut off the mics of the candidates when they step out of line. What do you say about that?
Well, I have an electric fence here in Jersey where I live, Elizabeth, and we use a shock collar for the dog for the electric fence. I'm thinking that would definitely stop any interruptions going on. But in all seriousness, yeah, the next debate, Elizabeth, is a town hall format. I don't think you're going to see the interruptions like we saw in the first debate because you have an audience there. Audience asks one question to one candidate. That candidate then gives an answer. So unless somebody's going to go over and rip a microphone out of somebody's hand, I don't think you're going to have that problem. But just in case, I suppose, maybe they'll cut the mics on one of the candidates to make sure those sort of interruptions don't happen. Overall, Elizabeth, 65 million people watched last night. You say, hey, that's a pretty high number. Actually, relatively, no, it's not. In 2016, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, first debate out at Hofstra, 85 million tuned in. So 20 million less than 2016 during a pandemic, no less. I don't know what that tells us exactly, but not as many people are interested for some reason.
Interesting. That's an interesting data point that you just made, because the question is, Biden is being pressured to cancel future debates. But, when you're talking to 65 million people, that's a lot of voters. Here's what else is going on. Conservatives, Ari Fleischer, Chris Christie, Michael Goodwin of the New York Post all said this is a way over the top train wreck. It became the personal over policy. That's just not good for the country. And Michael Goodwin says the bulk of the blame falls on the president. The Wall Street Journal editorial page said Trump is interrupting Biden so much that he wouldn't let Biden talk long enough even to make a mistake. Do you agree with that?
I think, yeah, Joe Biden was saved by the bell on a couple of occasions, particularly early on in the debate, where Trump really had him on the ropes, but only after interrupting him several times in terms of, will you eliminate the filibuster? But more importantly, in terms of the Supreme Court, will you stack that court? And since there are so many interruptions, they simply ran out of time, and we got to go on to a couple of different topics. So, yeah, I think if Donald Trump just let Joe Biden be Joe Biden, suddenly Joe Biden would have walked into probably some traps in those situations. And plus, the president missed a couple of opportunities, Elizabeth. Didn't talk about ISIS or killing the ISIS leader, the Iran terror leader. Kamala Harris encouraging bailing out rioters in Minneapolis, regulatory reform, border control, Israeli peace deals that he just signed a week ago. All those things weren't broached, and those are all in Donald Trump's sweet spot. And I think that was because of the interruption so much of concentrating on pinning down Joe Biden, who's been in politics for 47 years, on one thing, instead of just touting his record and contrasting it with Joe Biden's. I think that would have been a lot better, and I have a feeling we're going to see that in the second debate, Elizabeth.
Interesting. Voters also might find it hard to believe that Joe Biden says he wants to, quote, restore the soul of the nation after he insulted with personal attacks and name calling. He called Trump a clown, a liar, a racist, said, shut up, man. It didn't exactly raise a level of civility and decorum with the name calling there as well. And then the question is, but who's going to take the undecided voters? They could be the key to who wins the battleground swing states in the election. So we still don't know, because Frank Luntz did a focus group, and people were really mad about how the debate unrolled last night. What do you think about that?
I think that in the end, it probably will come down to more of a base election, if anything else, Elizabeth, in terms of enthusiasm behind the candidate. And Donald Trump does have that advantage right now. And I think after last night and just talking to Trump supporters and Biden supporters, Trump didn't lose anybody because people liked the fact, maybe they didn't like the interrupting. I thought there were too many interruptions, but they're going to stick with him. Joe Biden, though, may have left the left wing of the party to the side, however, who already did not trust him. That's the AOC wing. Because remember, he said that he didn't sign a pact with Bernie Sanders, which he did, and he denounced the Green New Deal, which he originally supported. So he alienated those Bernie bros, and I think that could be a problem because he needs those votes in a close election if we're talking about one base versus the other. And if Biden only has half a base, Donald Trump wins.
Yeah, that was a striking moment when he just rejected Bernie Sanders, saying, I beat him by a lot, claiming he's not for the Green New Deal when it's on his own campaign website as as a structural framework for what his thinking is. The president is getting criticized by Republicans like Rick Santorum for making a mistake, missing an easy layup. He began, but did not roundly condemn enough white supremacists. ABC News did note that Biden was wrong, that Trump did condemn white supremacists after the Charlottesville riots of August 2017, but the president should have gone further and roundly condemned it. He didn't do enough there. What was your thought when you saw that?
Yeah, that was absolutely a layup in terms of, it's just like asking, if I asked you, Elizabeth, are you against cancer? It's simple. Of course I'm against white supremacists. Of course I'm against cancer, right? And I've condemned them before. I will condemn them again. They have no place in this party. Let's move on to things that really matter. And by the way, if you're going to ask about me condemning white supremacy, you might want to ask Joe Biden about condemning Antifa or the violent wing of the Black Lives Matter movement that caused billions of dollars in damages in U.S. cities. Let's hear from Joe Biden to see if he will condemn those groups as well. And I think he could have turned that while answering a simple question. He missed an opportunity, Elizabeth.
Yeah, and Joe Biden claiming that the U.S. is systemically racist, many people say that's totally wrong. And he's saying that Antifa is just, quote, an idea after people have been killed in riots, property damage, and at least $1 billion there. And, minority business owners saw their businesses destroyed. And, by the way, we've got news. A 36-year-old suspect now reportedly arrested today in the Compton, California shooting ambush of 2 deputies. President Trump said to Biden, just even say the words law enforcement. Biden wouldn't. Biden could not name support from any law enforcement group. He said he didn't call on the leaders in Portland or Seattle to stop the rioting because he claimed it was a private citizen. He also denied that anything about Hunter Biden getting millions of dollars out of China and Russia, when Senate Homeland Security has documents and Treasury and bank documents showing all that. That's a real danger zone for Biden right now. Your final word.
I would think, Elizabeth, it would be a danger zone, but everybody's concentrating on Trump today in the media and not fact-checking Joe Biden in terms of, was a wire transfer done between the mayor of Russia at the time and Hunter Biden? Yes, there was. It's actually documented. That isn't really being brought up that much because Trump blots out the sun. He gets all the attention, good, bad, ugly, otherwise. But we have another debate next week between the vice presidents, and then in 2 weeks, we're back at it again. A long way to go, Elizabeth. The next 33 days will be a long decade, however.
And guess who will be back on the show? You. We hope you come back to help break it down again, Joe. You did a great job there. Come back soon.